What up is Marcus Dynasty Football Dads, and so RayGQue actually commented on my last video here, or Thursday's video here, and so we decided, hey, they did a mock draft, 1 QB. We haven't done a mock draft 1 QB. Let's, as a staff, I'm pretty sure a couple of the gentlemen over there, including Ray, I know they did this kind of mock draft with 1 QB, and I was like, let's see what they decide, because I know that we had a lot of differing opinions with Fantasy Pros, well, a lot of differencing opinions with Fantasy Pros, and even differencing opinions with Mason, Dynasty Fantasy Flocks. We're like, hey, RayGQue, let's react to their mock drafted 1 QB league, and if he wants me ever on the show, I would love to be a part of that as a special guest. I've watched that channel for a while now, and so this is more of a, not even courtesy, I guess, to him. I enjoy watching them, and I think we do, I would say I probably think most like that channel. I just looking even at my rankings here and how close they are, spoiler, that I believe that we have a lot of similar thoughts, and including the man Kenneth Walker, which we get to talk about, and we don't have to dispute or argue. We get to actually be on the same side, even though that the landing spot isn't great. The landing spots, here is the mock draft that RayGQue, that channel, this is what they came up with, a mock draft. And I'm going to go not against. We're going to start off with 1 and 2, because 1 and 2, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker goes to Kansas City Chiefs. It's a frustrating spot. I mean, it just means Clyde Edwards-Helaire becomes Michael Carter. So a RB3. So if you are a Clyde Edwards-Helaire fan, this hurts. I think Kenneth Walker, there's questions about his pass-catching ability at Michigan State. I think he's able to do it, but think Darrell Williams. Think Damian Williams, maybe a little bit less pass-catching towards the playoff the last couple of years for the Kansas City Chiefs, pre-Chicago time for him. I believe that that's what you're going to get out of Kenneth Walker at the 102. Still, running backs are a high demand. I feel like he's a safe running back, and we are drafting off of talent. I don't like Kansas City's necessarily spot amazingly, but you're probably going to get a lot of touchdowns with Kenneth Walker. You could easily see a James Conner-like 2021 season, and you could see Clyde Edwards-Helaire go into the Chase Edmonds role. That's what I foresee happening if he were to be drafted by Kansas City. And so Breece Hall 101, easily Buffalo. Pretty much he's 101 locked up, and that's what they said too. I think the biggest question, so that you can see 103, they have Drake London, and I've seen Mason with this as well, and I've seen other analysts as well that have pretty much locked Drake London as their wide receiver 1. He is my wide receiver 3. When I had tier 1 of 3 wide receivers with Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase, and Jalen Waddle, I had Jalen Waddle 3rd. Some people had him 2nd. Some people had him 1st. Drake London is the 3rd guy of the 3 when it comes to Treylon Burks and when it comes to Garrett Wilson. But a lot of times I see him in better situations. I feel like Treylon Burks is either going to be an amazing situation or a horrible situation. You can see Tennessee, not a great situation, but he's 5th on my list. I have 3rd if I was coming up to the clock. None of these elite tier 1 wide receivers make me go, wow, I want to have that spot. There is no Atlanta. There is no Green Bay. There is no Kansas City. So I'm going to take Garrett Wilson here as a slightly better chance of having a high-powered offense with Zach Wilson. I think tossing the ball a ton. I think Zach Wilson is going to take a big step forward. This is a big gamble on Zach Wilson, so if you're not a Zach Wilson fan, then you're probably going to hate this pick. So Garrett Wilson is my 3rd pick in this kind of mock draft format. And 4 is going to stay Isaiah Spiller, and I remember even watching Ray's video here. He said that there's definitely some concerns. Isaiah Spiller fits into the 3rd round here in Atlanta, so he doesn't go to the 4th round. If he's a 4th round pick or later, this is a huge fall for him. And again, Isaiah Spiller, you look at the rest of the landing spot for some of these wide receivers, I feel like Isaiah Spiller is the last good running back left on the board. And so that 4, you really, I don't like this spot. I would probably try to trade out of this spot, but we're going to assume no trades, nothing. And so I'm just going to take Isaiah Spiller. He's still super young. He has some red flags. He does have some red flags concerning in the analytics department and everything. and you saw the combine stuff where he got hurt and it was not a good performance, which would probably likely drop his stock. If we didn't see that, I think he would be an easy 4 here, but we still have that kind of bitter leftover taste in our mouth, and I feel like you see that, and then you see the Christian Watson side where you still have that basically sugary taste in your mouth of like, wow, I like that. This guy's crazy. His RAS scores, relative athletic score, is through the roof. He looks like basically Chase Claypool, DK Metcalf, Calvin Johnson type of athleticism. And when you have that, that's why he's been shooting up the boards. I mean, he was mid-second, end of second. Now he's early second, end of first, which we'll talk about him later. So 4 is Isaiah Spiller. London is number 5. Again, Drake London, you look at him, and even as a freshman year, he's performed well. And he was better than Michael Pittman, and he's been better than Amon-Ra St. Brown. You've seen those 2 wide receivers succeed at the next level, and Drake London is arguably better than both of those players. So that is why I have Drake London 5, though. He is in the tier 1 here. It's really hard. Treylon Burks, Jameson Williams. I am going to keep it 6-7 like that. I think Jameson Williams getting to New Orleans. New Orleans is so up in the air with what their quarterback future is like. And I think the issue with Treylon Burks is he goes to a team that has a player exactly like him. I've compared Treylon Burks to A.J. Brown so many times because I think that is relatively the comp you are getting with Treylon Burks. And putting him on the same team, I do not like that at all. He becomes the beta. He becomes the number 2 guy and slowly develops probably into that offense. Yeah, we saw Corey Davis succeed a little bit in Tennessee, but this team runs through Derrick Henry. And until Derrick Henry leaves Tennessee or ends up getting busted up or whatever it might be, we still have seen struggles even with no Henry. And I guess Julio, he was kind of a disappointment just because of injuries. I have some big concerns of Tennessee being a good landing spot. So Jameson Williams, who would be a tier 1 wide receiver, but we have to talk about the injury, the ACL injury. New Orleans being a spot that might draft a quarterback, might not draft a quarterback. I like Winston as an option. Michael Thomas is going to be, he's later in his career. I mean, you're talking about A.J. Brown versus Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas it might have a year left or 2, but we haven't even seen him on the field in forever. So Michael Thomas not being there doesn't really hurt him. And New Orleans has shown to really have a ton of passing that has been viable to a wide receiver. It's just been a different wide receiver, it seems like, every single game. Is it Traquan Smith? Is it, well, now it's Hardy. I don't know why his last name got changed. I can't remember. But it seems like it's somebody different. This Kamara this time. Kamara's going to have 10 catches for 120 yards. It's like everybody different every single game. I think if they have a consistent number 2 here, Jameson Williams is that elite talent that could be a steal here at 6, but I'm going to put him slightly ahead of Burks at number 7. Number 8, I have George Pickens as well, so we're not going to talk much about it. The only thing is I think George Pickens with the Burks and Williams, I really feel like those 3 are so close. So if you had to, in the real world, if you had to move back a spot to acquire another pick, a late second or something like that, I would just do it just so you can have a late second. You throw another dart at the dartboard and try to hit a bullseye. And sometimes you do, and a lot of times you don't. Number 9, this is where I would take Jahan Dotson over Chris Olave. I like Jahan Dotson. I would say he's a little bit worse than Chris Olave, maybe talent-wise. They're the same tier. They're very, 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 very close. In fact, early in the year, I had Jahan Dotson ahead of Chris Olave. Now it's just a slightly turn. The problem with Chris Olave is he is not a run-after-catch guy, and Green Bay is a great spot. But they have now George Pickens also into that offense. I think Jahan Dotson easily, with that speed and ability, becomes the Elijah Moore-ish type wide receiver, probably a poor man's Elijah Moore, in the Kansas City offense, and I love that spot for Jahan Dotson. I just can't move my head of George Pickens or Burks or Williams, but I did against Olave, and I did against Christian Watson, and I did against Sky Moore as well. So we're going to talk about those couple guys here. Chris Olave, 10. Christian Watson and Moore, 11 and 12. So we get to kind of match up here as well. We're going to talk about second round tomorrow, by the way, of RayGQue's draft. We're going to go through the second round. There's a lot more changes, I believe, in the second round that I see versus the first round. The first round were relatively same. If we want to do the numbers out loud, it's 1, 2, 5, 4, 3, 6, 7, 8, 10, 9, 11, 12. So we're relatively on the same path of thinking with that channel, which makes sense. You're going to have some channels that you think strongly with, and you're going to have some channels that you think strongly necessarily not the same way or against. And I feel like I don't know what their basis are. I just remember I don't know if they're video or analytics or a little bit of both. I remember going back and forth and looking on his channel when I was looking up Devi stuff or looking up future stuff. And he was actually one of the only channels that I actually saw years ago. I think it was like probably 2-3 years ago at this point when it was January and fantasy football was over, and I was like, I want to go into Dynasty mode, and there was nothing there, which is why the actual channel that I created became a fruition and became what now there's more and more channels, which is awesome. More and more content out there for you guys that are trying to look for it. So hey, if you're still RayGQue, here's comment hi. I like doing these reaction mock drafts to other users, other YouTube providers, you could say, and I hope other people do it to me. Hey, I'm okay if somebody completely disagrees with me, and if they want me to be a part of that channel and visit and say defend my case, I would definitely do so, because I think it's important to have that comfortable, positive negotiation of like, this is what I see, oh, this is what you see. Sometimes it's I see analytics and this person sees video and they clash, and it's like, okay, well, maybe there is a middle ground. Maybe there's not. Maybe it's just a brutal fight. No, I'm just kidding. So that is the first 12 picks. Hopefully you enjoyed this video of another reaction. This is 1QB. Again, second round tomorrow. Again, peace out. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow.